Hey, howdy ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast. This is episode 377, I think we're up to.
Woo.
This is the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I am your dashing host, Chris, and with me is my good friend and utterly gorgeous co-host, Andy,
Jesus.
also known as the Sandman. He's got an entourage with him there today. How you doing, brother? Good to have you, man.
Lions fan.
Yeah.
The normal.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's therapy time again. We gotta figure this out. So here we go. Let's see. We've got a lot talking about. We'll talk about the game. We'll do a little roundtable discussion between ourselves, and of course, we will take your calls like we do in the post-game show. So let's make it all happen. You can join us for the fun, I guess. It'll be a great therapy session. Sandman, you ready to go, my man?
Let's do it.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
All right. Let's get right into it. Tim just put this in the chat, and I'm going to start with it. Can we even be upset anymore? And Andy, I think that's the ultimate kind of stem to start with for you, because
I cut you off. Yes. We can be upset when we lose in new ways. So here's what I mean by that. We lose because we don't have talent. Whatever, because that is what it is. We kind of expect that at this point. What I didn't expect from today was Dan Campbell giving up at the end of this game. I think people are going to disagree. I think people will take it differently. But what I saw at the end of this game was inexcusable to me from the same guy that had 2 fake punts, an onside kick, all during one game. Where is that? Where is the want to win so bad that you don't care about losing? That's not here. That's not what happened today. And I'm getting nervous. Now that Campbell has taken over play calls, we're seeing a complete lack of diversity in our offense at all. If I'm a team, I'm not playing the throw at all. Let them get 200 yards throwing against me, because I'm not going to let them win the only way they have been winning, which is by running the football. That 7 points we got was a fantastic play by our O-line and Swift, but it was a play that doesn't happen most times. That's not a guaranteed thing. It just happened to work out for us this one time. It's the worst. It's the worst watching us lose, arguably because of Dan Campbell and the way that we lost.
It's the most, to say the least. It's the worst if you're the best. I'll disagree a little bit. Before I gotta kick it to Flounder again. Flounder, thanks so much, brother. You are what a great friend of the show. $200 match today. For St. Jude donations. Head on over to stjude.org/DLP. You can see we're almost to $29,000 for Christmas for the kids. If we can hit that $30,000 mark, you guys, it'd be amazing. Go to stjude.org/DLP and part with any spare change you got. I will also say there's a boatload of new items in the auction as well that you may be interested. There's the Darren McCarty signed boxing glove, some signed pucks, Chris Osgood signed a poster, a Herman Moore signed helmet, Jamal Williams signed helmet, a whole bunch of new stuff. Auction.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. If you're not registered, you got to go to the bottom right of the screen. There's a problem with registration right now. You can go down there and register, and then add your billing and shipping address, and you'll be good to go. But it is a heck of an auction. There's a lot of great stuff there. All right, and anything donated, $200 match right off the top from Flounder. I'm gonna say I don't like the calls. Okay, I don't like the calls from Dan Campbell. I'm not going to say we gave up. The whole kind of concept, there's one pendulum that has swung for Dan, and he just hasn't found his, if you will, voice in this space yet. Sometimes it's Riverboat Dan, crazy Dan, swinging out, just swinging from the fences, like we saw in L.A. with the 2 fakes and the whole thing. And then other times it's like, I'm playing the numbers, man, right? And it seems like the whole game is put in one side of that or the other side of that pendulum swing. And this was I'm doing it by the numbers game, which is why I understand why I did. Again, I'm not saying I agree with the play calling here at the end of the game, but the 3rd and 14 when we handed it to Swift, you don't trust your quarterback. You don't trust your wide receivers in that play, in that time of the game. You need to play the best call you have in your playbook. Swift had the hot hand. He was the best call available to Campbell in that spot, so that's what he called. Now, we talked about a little bit about going for it on fourth down there. That would have been an interesting call. That would have definitely been on the Riverboat Dan side versus the analytics Campbell. I don't know. But he decided to punt and rely on his defense. Again, I understand the defense has been the strongest part of the team, so I understand wanting to rely on it. But I'm sitting here telling myself, even if we get the stop, they punt the ball. We have the ball in the same spot now, minus timeouts.
Yeah, worst spot.
Yeah.
Minus timeouts with a team that hasn't moved the ball at all game, had one fluke run that busted out, a 58-yard run or whatever the hell it was.
Yep.
Like we're talking about, you're at the 40, you just have to go. You have to go. You have a 4th and 1. You haven't had many opportunities all game. You have to go for it on the 4th down. And then on the 3rd and 14, like if you're going to run the draw, which is fine, if you're going to go for it on 4th down, regardless of outcome.
Yeah.
If you think you're going to go for it, but that, it's all wasted downs. We talked last week about wasted downs, wasted plays. I think Dan Campbell knows that putting the ball in any of our quarterbacks' hands too much is a wasted down. I think he understands that, but we're getting to the territory where the other team knows that we're not going to put it in the hand of our quarterback.
Yeah. Well,
so they're stacking the box, and then all of our run plays become wasted downs. Our entire offense is wasted downs at this point.
Yeah.
You have to take risks. You have to let the quarterback fail. And he did. He let Boyle fail a couple times today, but you got more. You have to do it more.
Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
I don't drink. This is Joe.
Hi, Joe.
From Indiana.
Don't worry, Joe. I got you covered on that today. And we will do a game day drink live on the air very shortly once I finish this one. What do you got going for us?
Well, I was busy watching the game last week and didn't get a chance. So I'm here to take you up on your Goff challenge.
Right.
We're a week late.
Okay. No,
I assume it's his injury that kept him out of this week.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I don't think they'd go, especially looking at Tim. They've seen him in training camp. They know.
He didn't really impress, did he?
No, but I mean, I'm this takes away all the conversation. What if Tim Boyle's right, and you have a controversy, right?
Yeah.
It's like, now I know why we didn't play the backup. What do you got for us? Okay, so you're going to do
here's my argument for Goff.
Okay.
I am a firm believer that he is between probably 16 and 24. I believe there are 24 starting quarterbacks. The last 8 are for developmental rookies and first-year quarterbacks. So I believe the top 24 is starting quality quarterbacks. That's how I rank quarterbacks.
No, I think it's a fair point. I think he's NFL quality. He's definitely above in the backups on our roster.
Or pretty much any roster. I mean, there might be one in the NFL, but I'd have a hard time picking out who that would be, to be honest.
Yeah.
But here's where I think our problems with Goff is. If we draft a quarterback, in my opinion, it has to be the number 1 pick or the number 2, wherever we end up at the end of the year. And it has to be our guy. If we believe we have the next guy, then draft him. If not, I say stick with Goff. I say you draft whatever that impact player is, whether it be a defensive end, or God forbid a receiver that high, but whatever that impact, whoever that true number 1 is, we have to draft. I think a lot of us get caught up in the quarterback, and I'm really worried that we'll draft a quarterback to get out of our blues, when to be honest, there's at least 3 games this year that Goff did not cost us, including last week. We blew through 2 kicks, including an extra point, to lose that game.
Well, I think to
tie the game, I guess technically.
Yeah, one of the big pieces of the pie and the big problems is there's nobody you've got Hawkinson and Swift on the field, right? And when a whole team just covers those two, I mean, Reynolds added literally nothing this week.
Nothing.
It was. I mean, he had what, 2 penalties?
Yeah, he might have been a negative.
Well, receivers tend to take about 4 to 5 weeks to acclimate to a new playbook, and it's probably just as hard for a receiver to a new playbook as it would be like bringing in a brand new quarterback, because they got to know when there's option routes and all those kind of intricacies that we as the fans often forget. It's not a simple go 8 yards and turn back for the ball.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's if the defense does this, you do that. And that's hard to learn in a week.
Yep. Okay, tell you what, man.
Now
I'll
will
make one more point, and then we're gonna move on, right? I appreciate this. I mean, you're making points that are real, that you know have standing. I'll tell you though, the problem with riding Goff, just because of everything he's shown so far, or the perception of where he's been so far, is I'm not sure if you can hold on to the team next year if you do it. But here, I'll make one more point, and we're going to move on because the phones they're banging at the back of my head.
Okay, I have actually 2 very quick points. The first point is the first interception shows how bad our receivers are, because if you really watch Tim Boyle's first interception, while the pass wasn't as accurate as you would have liked, the receiver really wasn't fighting for it, and that is a big no-no. You cannot be that close to the defender and not be giving it your all for that ball.
Yep.
I didn't catch who it was, the receiver-wise, but he was not fighting, and I did not like that. And the second thing I would say is we also got to remember Mark Brunell's our quarterback's coach, and if you go back and look at his career, it looks an awful lot like Goff.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. All right, man. Hey.
I'll have to go back and brush up on my Brunell.
All right. Thanks a lot for the call. I appreciate it, and it will spark further conversation. And I think in between the season and the Senior Bowl, we'll definitely want you to call again, and we'll have a deeper conversation on one of those shows. Does that sound good?
Yep.
All right, brother. Thank you. Appreciate the call.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Later.
All right. I'm not. I can't really get into the whole Goff thing right now. You know what I mean? I need therapy for today's game.
Yeah, this game's not by itself. Yeah.
Steve-O, he makes a great point here. Jonah Jackson's penalty hurt this team bad. It absolutely did. And did anybody hit us in the chat if you were there, or if you know someone who saw it? Greg Warren, who was in the stadium, he didn't see anything. He was there and didn't see anything for the flag. So no one knows where it came from. That's killing me. Brandon in the chat, hey, Chris, at least the Lions won't die from cancer because they're not smoking any cigars. I, sir, would challenge that because I am anti-science, but I have a great data point in Wayne Fonts. Thank you very much.
I heard that TJ Lang heard Jonah Jackson say some unscrupulous words, which is where that penalty came from.
Oh, darn you, Browns.
Yeah.
Something out of Cleveland.
Exactly. Probably a not worse one than that, maybe.
Okay. All right. It's 23 skidoo. All right. Michael Demare, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate that very much. Appreciate the support. Also, I have to look it up. I said Silly Maricat. Was that it?
Yep.
Yeah. Something like that. Thank you so much for the $100 donation to the St. Jude. I'll get that up here so I can make sure I get it exactly right. Get that too. All right, Silly Maricat. Thanks for doing the show and the public service of covering this trash fire team. Love the Christmas for the Kids cause and all that you lads do. Thank you, Silly Maricat. That's very kind of you. Very, very much. I thank you for that. That's awesome. $100. And that's got half of the match in from Floundericious. So we got $100 more. We're trying to raise. stjude.org. Caller, what's your name and how much have you had to drink? I think you're on a delay, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Is that me?
Big time.
Yeah, that's you. Can you turn it down in the background?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm on the air. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
You guys still there?
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay. All right. So I'm Alex from Michigan, and I've had a 22-ounce Diet Coke to drink today. That's about it.
That's good. Fool yourself out of the calories. That's the way to do it.
That's right. That's right. Could have went with vodka, but I decided to go with the Diet Coke instead.
That's fair.
Good choice.
That's a good choice. Keep yourself healthy. Don't let yourself get hurt because of this team.
That's right. But yeah, no, I wanted to call in because I felt like watching today's game that I've actually felt for a while that it's like, okay, we have 3 quarterbacks on this team. One quarterback, I get it. You have to play him when he's healthy because he costs $30 million a year. The other quarterback that they play today is not that, does not have that kind of price tag. He is, he is who they think is the best option, fine, but I think he's pretty god-awful, and I thought he played god-awful today, and I thought you got to the point again where at the end of the game, they trust running the ball on 3rd and 14 more than they trust their quarterback to try to make that throw on 3rd and 14. Yep. And so my, thing I keep beating my head against the wall about is like, you have a 3rd quarterback on this team, and he costs about the same as the guy that's in the game currently, and you don't trust the guy that's in the game. How is that other guy not getting a shot at this point? Like, how are we still better than giving David Blau a shot when when we're pretty much at our wits' end and we were running the ball on 3rd and 20? I just don't get it. What do you guys think about that?
It's a weird thing, because when they first were talking about Goff being out, my first thought was, oh, David Blau is going to start. And then when they put Boyle in, I was a little shocked because I didn't see anything from Boyle in preseason. They kept putting Boyle in the number 2 spot in preseason as well, but I didn't see anything from him. I thought that Blau played the best out of everybody during preseason, including Goff, because we didn't see him very much. And we know what we have in Blau because he started games here for us before. He played 2 years ago, a little bit, I think. And he's a gamer. He can run. He's mobile. There's extra layers to his game. I'm a little shocked by them putting Boyle out there and then seeing what Boyle had to offer, especially with all the Boyle stats that came out where he was threw 11 touchdowns and 26 interceptions in college, and just all sorts of weird stats. Like, I don't even know how he's in the NFL, kind of stats. Good for him that he got the start, I guess, but no, there's just no trust anywhere, and I don't know what the staff is going to do. They clearly do not trust any quarterback on this roster. Other teams know that. They're not dumb. They see it. What are we going to do?
Oh yeah.
What are we going to do?
So really quick, Burkett just tweeted, Dan Campbell said Jonah Jackson was penalized for saying something about someone's mother.
I mean, it's unacceptable, but also it's pretty funny.
Yeah. I'm with Jonah. I'm Team Jonah on that one.
First, I want to just say how reprehensible that is, and then secondly, I'd like to say how funny that is.
Oh my God! I'm just telling you that the refs need to get some time on Xbox, and they'll get over that one really quick.
Yeah, they're going to throw flags on all these little 12-year-olds.
I literally was having that conversation with my mom when I called her last week. I was like, "Oh God, these 12-year-olds have told me this of all the horrible things you do," and she was confused. took an explanation, but it's still funny to see a 78-year-old woman laughing at something like that.
When you first said that you're having that conversation with your mom, I thought you were saying what Jonah Jackson said in the huddle, and I was like, "Oh my!"
I should have probably given better background there. Oh man, yeah. Oh, he offered a Cleveland steamer to someone's mom. There you go, Hattori. There we go.
Oh my.
So wow, it's a little bit numbing. I'm not sure how he isn't the second quarterback on the team, particularly with the investment they made in him as a team when his wife was running the Olympics, and everybody, they put it on, everybody came and supported him. I'm like, that's the kind of thing that elevates a guy. Has he been just crapping it up in practice and we haven't seen it? I haven't heard that from the guys covering practice, at least in the media sessions. It makes no sense at all. What's going on with why Blau isn't number 2, in particular with the play calling at the end and the lack of trust you see in your quarterback. It just tells you straight out. And the hot crossing routes were working pretty good. Throws to Swift were working pretty decent. I mean, there were some things that were happening. Reynolds wasn't obviously an option, and I don't know if they thought he would be, and that shut down part of the game for them there. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, okay, I've always been one that thought, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, because this guy hasn't played, that must mean he's, god awful. I'm going to sit here and say, because he hasn't played, the coach's opinion of this player is that he is not, not worth playing or not playable or whatever. But I've always been one to think like, well, who am I to take this coach's word on anything? Unless he's like, I don't know, Mike Tomlin or like Andy Reid or somebody. But like, when people would say that Kerryon Johnson shouldn't have been, getting as many, it was right for him to get like no touches last year and let Adrian Peterson, the ageless wonder take as many carries as he did, or let Swift take as few carries as he did because Adrian Peterson, had so many. I'm just sitting here like, who are we to trust this coaching staff that they see in practice? Oh, it looks like Adrian should get 80% of the touches again. I'm just like, but we're about to fire these guys. And some people are sitting there like, oh, well, I trust the coaches over you. And I'm like, well, I probably should trust them over me, but that doesn't mean that they're right.
Yeah.
I just don't.
At the beginning of the year, that was actually one of the things that I enjoyed the most about Dan Campbell was his open honesty about seeing things and saying, oh, yeah, these need to be changed. Even before he coached a game, he was talking about what he saw last year and what he would do differently and how he noticed things. And I thought that was a benefit to this team. And, we're still kind of seeing that. I don't think it's to the extent of Adrian Peterson getting way too many touches like last year, but, Boyle getting the nod over, whatever. And like, we don't know what happens in practice, but, there's just a lot of that where now it's starting to rear its ugly head. And I mean, we're an 0-9-1 team. We don't have a lot of good prospects to be talking about. We're on a podcast or a live stream right now, trying to heal our wounds from this horrible team. And, I don't know if we have a lot of solace in choices being made right now, but this team doesn't have a lot of talent on it. So it's hard to really blast them. Maybe, bring back Jeff Driscoll. I don't know.
The talent on the team limits the availability of choices they have to make, right?
Yeah.
So you don't even know if they're selecting from the full menu or if they've got the kids menu over here that they're trying to work with to call a game, and it's tough. It's really, really tough.
Yeah.
All right, Alex.
What's frustrating, I guess. Sorry, one last thing before I go here. I guess the most frustrating thing to me is that even if you have the kids menu or you have like just a choice between two guys and you're at this point in the season and money is no longer a big issue with like the contracts and all that. Like the guys who you have left to choose from are both it's not a matter of money or anything. It's just a matter of who you think is going to get you that win. That you haven't even given any consideration to one of them. I find it hard to have any sympathy for you as a coach and in the position you're in, because otherwise you take that out of the equation. If we had tried all three quarterbacks and all of them sucked today, if we tried Boyle and Blau and both of them had about the same results today, then I'm starting to think that poor Dan Campbell, he just has nothing to work with. But the fact it's the process of being like, I'm not gonna try one of these guys and I'm just gonna sit here and say, oh, what was me? I had two bad quarterbacks. And it's like, come on, man, you got to at least try everything before you can throw up your hands and run it on 3rd and 20. Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Thank you, Alex. I'm going to hit you up. I'm going to answer that. Thank you for calling, man. I appreciate it. All right. I'll tell you, there's a sense, I went the wrong way with this, I think, in my kind of what if you have a quarterback controversy because Boyle comes out and does a good job and shows you something that you're not seeing in Goff, and then oh my gosh, you have a different issue, right? Well, what if Blau comes out and is bad as the other two, and you literally have no one on the team? I mean, because we came out today and everyone's just as mad as if Goff was on the field at the quarterback play, at the play calling, at the whole state of the team. If you bring out the last bullet in your gun at the quarterback position and he's as bad or worse than everything else, you've really erased all hope, right? I mean, that's it. Now,
yep.
next week or on Thursday, Justin Fields, just so you know, went out in the third quarter with a rib injury, and there's a potential he may not play Thursday. They also were out Khalil Mack. And, being that we're a run team, right? That might give us an opportunity to do something with that. There you go. All right. 248-782-8384, 248-782-8384. Give us a call, or Detroit Lions Podcast, all one word. Use Skype. You want to call us there. So do you think we could pull a tight end off another team and he could play?
Yeah, let's do it. I think all-time Wildcat. Just do it. Just put Jamal Williams back there. He'll have a good time. We'll have a good time. Let's just do it. Actually, I was looking at some stats while we were talking, and Boyle's stats look very similar to a Jared Goff stat line. 15 to 23, 65%, 3.3 yards per attempt, with a long of 24, 2 interceptions. Is it the quarterback? Is it the play calling? What is it? That looks very similar.
Well,
that's oddly similar. A high percentage of completion with nothing to show for it. That's the Jared Goff way.
So here you go.
This year.
Here you go.
Uh-oh.
2 different play callers. Okay, so that's multivariate. 2 different quarterbacks. That's multivariate. Same set of wide receivers.
Ooh. I want to hear chat's thoughts.
Yeah, hit it up in the chat. And while you're doing that, hit the like and the subscribe. That helps us out on the algorithm. Everybody.
Yeah.
So
and Dustin in chat said same thing. Indictment of offensive scheme. No matter who's calling the plays, the scheme is the same. Theoretically. Scheme, wide receivers, O-line. What are all of our tangibles here?
It's all a scheme. O-line, again, did what it was supposed to do.
Oh, they were crushing it. In the third quarter, the O-line owned the Browns.
Yeah.
The Browns knew what we were doing, and we were still winning. And, that's hard to do. That's hard to do as an offensive line, especially with your third center, second right guard, rookie right tackle.
Jonah Jackson making mom jokes, right? LeVar Arrington, let's just touch on him because he was out there. He was a wreck out there today. I mean, I know someone who knows someone in the building said they just shut the audio off on this game because he was just so bad. I recommended they go to the Dan Miller, put the radio on in the background to watch it. But I mean, so many. I mean, what did he call? He called him Hoxton, then Hawk. I mean that one.
Yeah.
And then he was worse with Oruwariye than I was. I mean, he just couldn't get it out.
Yeah, he made it a joke. He ran for it for 6-7 seconds.
Why do we always get the guy doing his first game?
Because they know nobody's watching this. The people that are watching it are suckers for, they're going to turn it on no matter what's happening.
It's like the NFL. Oh, well, you better sell more tickets, and then they put you're not building any fans with this broadcast crew. I mean, nobody is tuning into that. I mean, it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. All right, so we'll take your calls while we're waiting for calls. I'll just do a really quick game day drinks. It's one that you do after a loss and when you're 0-9-1. Just a real simple recipe. You start with a big bottle of Jack Daniels. You pour it in a nice sized tumbler. You do about a count of 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Something like that. 9's a good number. And then you reach over. You get yourself a nice Coke. 0. Take care of yourself a little bit. And you mix that. And there it is. Game day drinks. Jack and Coke.
Chris, that looks like a self-inflicted wound if I've ever seen one.
Oh, thanks, LeVar. Boy, that was a terrible call. You got to stop with these self-inflicted wounds.
This LeVar really needs to get a reading rainbow thesaurus or something.
Guy was shot in the arm. Boy, he really has to quit messing around getting shot. What a dumb. I don't know, boy. Still $100 a flounder match left, as Sandman says in the chat. We're at, what are we, 28,974? Oh, wow. $100 puts us over the 29,000, puts us $1,000
Ludicrous.
away.
Crazy.
Crack that one for us, guys. We're really, really trying. Bears lost the Ravens 19-16. Lions lost 19-17. It's right there. We'll go Lions win 17-16. What is this with 16? This is the curse. This is, I mean, you got 16-16 against the Steelers, right? Of course, Jerry Goff, number 16. There was another 16 in there somewhere that I forgot. Boy, it's I'll stop. It's 16s. The 16s are terrible.
It's all the missed field goals and extra points, and
there's something about that. I'm telling you.
Something.
Let's see.
Something.
Chris with the water gun, Skeletosi. That's right. Cheers, everybody. All right, what do we want to talk about? We've got the Bears on Thursday. We've got all kinds of turkey and other goodies that we're going to be knocking down. It's that time. It's time to have that failed Turkey Day game, that tradition. You're going to be there. You got that's part of your standard plans, right, Sandman? You're going to go.
Shoot, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The Lions aren't really pushing for me to come this year. I'll tell you that.
Well,
I have a feeling that this may be the emptiest Thanksgiving Day game since last year.
Since last year. Man, this is going to be generationally bad. Yeah, this one's a tough one. And again, this is selling tickets and the whole thing. It's going to be a tough go for this team. I don't know how they're going to, I don't know, man. I mean, seriously, I would honestly be reconsidering my season tickets for you. And I'm not imploring or asking people to think that way or do that. But as a fan, if I was putting that kind of money out there for this many years, I would really be having a hard time. I mean, this is this the year? I mean, because every year you say, okay, this is the year I'm just going to bite the bullet and get through. Maybe if I look back over the last couple years, I can convince myself that I was like, wow, this is just kind of the bridge till we really get it. But this year now, we've made it through the worst of it, right? We're now on the rise. Next year, we're going to have Holmes did great in the draft this year. We got 2 first-round picks coming in the next year's draft. I re-up. Is that, I mean, what's the thinking, Andy, for you?
There is no thinking. There's arguably no thinking. That's the problem. I think, for me, I'm on the edge. I've been on the edge for like 2 years now. Like last year it was whatever because I wasn't even there and I didn't get charged for it. Technically, they like kept my money, but they didn't spend it.
They made interest on it.
Yeah, they made interest on it. I didn't. But I think it comes down to like it's not a huge financial burden for me to have these tickets. Right. But it is an emotional burden. Having the tickets. So it's, I don't know. I already had a nice long conversation with my season ticket rep this year. Like I went up to the club area where I'm at, and I think, if you follow me on Twitter, you saw this. They gave me a hamburger with nothing on it. And when I said, hey, I didn't order this plain, they said, oh, we're out of pickles, lettuce, tomato, and ketchup. And I thought, get the hell out of here. You need that's something you say before I pay $40 for this defrosted meat. Like what the heck? At least. And then I call my season ticket guy. I'm like, yo, what the hell? Like this is crazy. Also, like the pro shop is closed upstairs. They had like one jersey in there. Like what's happening? And he said, oh, we'll make this right. And then he like shows up one day and gives me like an autographed TJ Hawkinson mini helmet. Like, what the hell am I going to do with this? That doesn't make me feel better at all. In fact, I told my buddies before this happened, I said, what's going to happen? I'm going to meet this dude who's going to give me a signed mini helmet. Because that's what they do. They give you a signed mini helmet. If you're a Lions season ticket holder, you have any clout at all, call them up, complain. You'll get a signed mini helmet. You can sell it on the black market for $20. And we'll pay for 1 quarter French fry.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to tear up all those feelings.
Now I get to decide, do I want to sit in an empty stadium on Thursday or spend time with my family? Like, I don't know. I don't really like either at this point.
Which is the lesser of 2 turkeys. Oh, hey, caller, give us 1 second. We got to cover a couple things here. First, oh man, that's funny. Sorry, Andy. Thanks. I needed that. I always feel better after this show, and it's because I'm laughing at someone else's expense. I think, and that's not fair.
Damn.
All right. I saw Baker Mayfield manage to hit the turkey hole today for a big first down conversion. Jamison Hennessy with a 1999
wow, there you
super
go.
chat. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much. Thank you for sending that in. We'll get that taken care of. Caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
In the morning, I haven't had too much to drink, being that I'm a Rams fan just following Goff to the Lions.
Oh,
Oh no.
Detroit is doing. Yeah, my dog Goffy too. So big Goff fan. Listen, the Lions are doing what bad teams do, and that's beat themselves with dumb penalties.
Mhm.
And it's the playmakers, guys. Playmakers make the lead. Like, I see bubble screens, a wide receiver taking a 5-yard out and going 60 yards. The quarterback gets credit for it, but it's the playmaker who made the play.
Mhm.
The Lions have to get playmakers. And on Twitter, I see all the guys who were bench Goff, bench Goff. Now you understand why. Goff, if the Lions had some luck, Goff would have got you 3 wins. Not saying he was solely responsible, but he had led the team to 3 wins, and then what you guys call it, being a Lion, that curse or whatever that happens, causes them to lose. But it's just about playmakers. I think this year you see what they're going. The offensive line is good. You see Swift, you see Williams, you see Hawkinson. If they get lucky, like Minnesota took Jefferson with the 19th pick, that Ram pick is going to be down in the 20s. Maybe not if Stafford keep playing the way he plays.
I was going to ask you about that next, but we'll get there.
you can, and I hated the trade. So even though I'm a Ram fan, half of me is like against Stafford, and the other half wants him to win. But whatever. But they have to got the playmakers. Michael Gallup is a free agent. There's the other guys free agents. If you get playmakers with this running game, Goff can win for you. He is a good quarterback. He is accurate. Now, I'm not quite sure what's going on with the arm. I'm not sure if they're not calling shots, because I'm watching replays of Goff, and he has an arm. He can throw.
See, this is the thing. This is exactly
I don't know what's going on with that.
Simon, this is what I was talking about with 2 different quarterbacks, 2 different play callers, no one downfield. We watched. I mean, if there's one thing you can tell about Boyle, is that when he's making checkdowns because his head like he's not looking anyone off with his eyes, right? He's just
No.
like he's snapping from literally very robotically from check to check to check. A lot of other quarterbacks, really good quarterbacks, do it with their eyes and don't snap their head around. He's checking the guys. I mean, he's checking me. There's just no one to catch the damn ball, man.
I mean, there's no doubt that this team has a lack of playmakers on it. We have 0 dudes. Mm-hmm. Some people I think would argue for Hawkinson and Swift. I would even argue that they're not even dudes. That like by themselves they don't make a lot happen. We don't have a guy that by himself will score a touchdown.
Our dudes are all hands in the dirt or a position like that. Right? They're not the playmakers. They're not putting their hands on the ball to do something. So while you can create all kinds of holes and Swift can look really good on a number of plays, it's down to the dudes are in the trenches. And I mean, this is where Holmes, as a Rams fan, what do you think of the Holmes pickup for a GM?
I like it. I think Holmes, if he learned from the Rams, he'll gamble some. But you got to realize the Rams got lucky with Aaron Donald, because we took him 13, and we had the number 2 pick, and he took Greg Robinson. And I think he's in a jail cell somewhere selling weed or something like that.
Selling something.
So a lot of it is about luck, right? So they might get the first-round pick. I hope they take the best player possible and not the quarterback, because his quarterback class doesn't look that good. And then that last pick and the second-round pick have got to hit. Those are got to be the guys that hit. And if Holmes learns anything, he's going to take the best player available and the best playmaker available, because they got an offensive line. Now you need a difference maker on defense, and A.J. Parker looks good. Hopefully you get the cornerback back from Ohio State. I'm not going to butcher his name like LeVar did. Or try to with the other guys.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a bust either. I think you got to give him some time. And Achilles injuries, they come back to seem well, so he'll come back. So Holmes, I think, is good. You got to give him a chance. I think next year you got to see massive improvement. I'm talking 7, 8 wins. Because they were competitive today and had a chance to win. They've been blown out twice. So if Holmes builds the team, if those 2 defensive tackles, they gain experience, and next year they're able to wreck a couple of games, Detroit should be on his way. And, you know, I like Holmes. I'm sorry to see him go, so he should be able to do a good job.
Awesome. All right, we got Matt Husian. Whenever Goff goes downfield, he's missing guys. Playmates are a problem, but they mean nothing with a quarterback who can also make a play. I know he means playmakers, but the Playmates chat started in the
Playmates have
chat.
been a problem lately.
Yeah,
ever since Hugh went down.
Well, or whoever went down in Hugh, however that worked out. But so let me ask you, Stafford. I know you. I feel the same way. I half want to see him, win. Half I'm not excited. I'm, uptight about the whole thing. He's an older guy, right? You guys, your clock is running hard right now. When you went in with Von Miller, OBJ, Stafford, who's got 2 years on his contract. He hasn't signed an extension. He is, I don't say he's old, but his years are getting up there. You guys, your cap, your draft picks, the whole thing, you're like this year or next year, and then it's a complete redo, right?
Yeah. I think even next year, because we don't have our first 3 picks. Our 3rd round pick and 2nd round pick seem to be bust. Right? We took a 150 pound wide receiver, 5'8", 150 pounds. I have no idea what he was doing with that. Our cornerbacks are leaky right now. So, I think this year's the year. I think if you don't win this year, with that stadium at home, next year I think it's just going to be crazy. And Stafford looks good against the Giants, the Lions, and the Texans. Arizona, the Niners, and the Titans, not so much. And he kind of looked like Goff did with pressure, right? I'm not seeing these comebacks that he was held for in Detroit, which I argue when you're coming back in December against bad teams, I mean, who really cares? But so he looked a little shaky. And his decision making, just throwing up 50-50 balls isn't, the best when he's under pressure. So, it's a little weird, right? Mm-hmm. To be like not all the way in on your team that you've been a fan of for 30 years. But I just hated the trade so much. Like,
you get used to it, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, watching Stafford play for the Rams, he's the same Stafford that played here.
Yep.
I think he has a better cast around him. He's got a much better defense, but he still is Stafford. He's still prone to those Stafford things that we have been watching forever, and like those 50-50 balls, those try to hero his way out of situations that maybe don't require that. And he might still be learning. He did have to hero himself out of situations here often because he knew that if he didn't do it, the defense wasn't going to do it and nobody else was going to do it. But with the Rams, that's not necessarily the case. But same Stafford.
Yeah, it's weird though to hear, the national media and then Ram fans on Twitter talk about him as if he was this perfect quarterback and everything was Detroit's fault. Every loss, every interception. I was like, have you watched the guy play? And I'll say this, and I get hammered on Twitter with Rams Twitter. Stafford throws a better ball than Goff, no doubt. But I'm not sure he's a better quarterback. Goff, if you look at Goff numbers when he had weapons, similar to what Stafford is doing.
So I will tell you, your people's heads are blowing up right now. But I'm going to tell you, this is an interesting thing because Goff got to a Super Bowl, and everyone says, well, he only got there because he was surrounded by a bunch of great players, right? Well, Stafford's surrounded by a bunch of great players, maybe even in a better situation than Goff was. And we'll have to see how it goes. Does that make one a better quarterback? Of course, there's a million other things that happen, right? And I would argue that Stafford is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. But if 2 years from now, Jared Goff is still here and he's surrounded by talent and this team is making deep playoff runs, I think people are going to argue against Matthew Stafford just based on the performance of the team. Unfortunately, I don't know that he'll ever get that chance. Go ahead.
Yeah. One thing that you said is that no quarterback makes it to the Super Bowl without a great team behind him. Like everybody that goes, I mean, Joe Montana had Rice, Mahomes has Tyreek Hill and Kelsey and Andy Reid. Bradshaw had Knowles in that Steelers team. So this notion of, great quarterbacks make it to the Super Bowl, that's true. But they also have great players around them. No quarterback can go. If you put Kansas City and give Mahomes these weapons, Kansas City's not Kansas City. So
right.
It's a team effort. Everybody, and I think Goff would be great, but he's good enough to win. And he was in his third year, and he went up against Bill Belichick. And him and McVay got schooled. And all of a sudden people think, oh, he's a bum. I mean, Bill Belichick has made a lot of quarterbacks look bad over the years.
Yeah, including Mahomes. And, I mean, that was right around the same time as the whole pipe Sean's girl thing, so that probably didn't help, right? They're already a little all right. Hey.
Well, look, he made it without Cooper Kupp and clearly an injured Todd Gurley, right? Mm-hmm. He took that team, and he was down 13-0 to the Saints in the loudest stadium in the NFL, and he came back and won. So, to me, I've just seen him do it, so I know he can do it.
Yep. Hey, what was your name again?
Lamar.
Hit me up on Twitter, man. I like you. I like you a lot. I like your takes. You're a fun cat.
No doubt. I think I've had before, but I'll hit you again. I'm Jersey Ram, so I'll definitely hit you up.
All right, cool, man. Be good. I'm gonna let you go. We got a couple other calls coming in. We're gonna hit, and but thanks for the combo.
Okay, thank you.
All right, see you, man. God, he brought up so many things that I was like ready to argue for and against, and. My God. And I just want to hit Robert M in the chat just to kind of put a little more controversy around this whole statement about Goff and Stafford. Goff started 2020 7-3. Stafford started 2021 7-3. I mean, Stafford's clearly better, but that's a thing. So it's a thing. He's surrounded by great talent, right? And Matthew Stafford is not without his problems, and we talked about you said it. We've said it before. Matthew Stafford looks the same. He's the same Matthew Stafford he was in Detroit. He's just got guys that are catching balls better. But this last game, all those Matthew Stafford things, I'm going to hit you with a cannonball at 1,000,000 miles an hour. You better catch it, and it didn't work. Those things started popping up again, and it was really, really interesting to say, God, that Chris Durham did that same thing. This Cooper Kupp. Oh, that's interesting. So look, I'm not arguing that Jared Goff is a better quarterback, but they both have their problems, and definitely the talent around him makes a big difference. I have to shout out Ilya Kuznetsov, who may, for all we know, be directly related with one of the Washington Capitals. Arrington said that Chubb looked like James Brown out there today. Didn't know the young man also had musical talents. I think it was the dance, the feet.
Yeah, had to have been the feet.
Yeah,
maybe the hair. I haven't seen Chubb's hair in a while.
Oh man, yeah. Arrington was a mess. I don't know what in the heck was going on with him.
Yeah, I mean they prefaced it by saying oh yeah, and this is your first game you're calling. It was
again?
All right. We get it. You're letting us know that this is probably gonna be bad. We understand.
Keep missing calls. Sorry, guys. I get into the conversation and then I miss them. All right, so looking ahead to Turkey Day against Chicago, it's a winnable game. I don't really care what happened earlier this year between these two teams. They're through injury, they're different. It's at home for the Lions, which in some ways might be a curse a little bit. But Thanksgiving is the one day when it's harder for the home crowd to travel. Except when they're coming from Chicago, because there's a lot of families, Detroit to Chicago connections, right? So I don't know what it's going to be like. Bring your decibel meter when you go, Andy, and we'll see if
I'll open. I just used the Lions one that's probably off by 20 decibels. It's fine.
It's the same animation every time. Haven't you noticed?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I'm just tired of playing the Bears on Thanksgiving. Give us a.
Yeah. So, I remember. What was the last team we played that wasn't the Bears? Was it Minnesota?
It was Houston last year.
Yeah.
But then it was the Bears before that. And then I think it's like 3 of the last 5 times have been the Bears.
Yeah. The last one I went to on Thanksgiving was Darius Slay with the interception on the Vikings.
Oh, what a great game.
That was an awesome game.
Speaking of Darius Slay, he until Swift scored that long touchdown, he had as many offensive touchdowns in the last couple of weeks as we did.
Yeah, Swift. James Brown, Dan Smooths, and Jim Brown running. Yeah, for sure. Don't miss auction.detroitlionspodcast.com. There's a lot of great stuff. There. All 100% of the money goes to St. Jude. So head on over to auction.detroitlionspodcast.com. Also, don't forget about cbd.detroitlionspodcast.com. Take care of your brain. Pain, anxiety, insomnia, all 3 of those things will get smoothed right over with the help of CBD. And if you go the active CBD route or the Delta 8 CBD route, you get a little buzz along the way. And some of that is legal in all 50 states. The Delta 8, they've been doing some, I don't know if they can't tax it or what, but it's not legal in all 50 states. Who knows what they're doing with that. But the active CBD has the same kind of power. It gives you the same kind of feeling. cbd.detroitlionspodcast.com. cbd.detroitlionspodcast.com. Get yourself taken care of. Andy, why don't you give us a wrap? What were a little feedback on the game today and a little look forward. I mean, there's the one thing. Go ahead, you do yours, and I won't step on it. I was already going to say, Andy, tell us, and then let me tell you. I'll just hand it to you, let you go.
I think we only have obvious talking points at this point. There aren't a lot of nuance to these Lions losses. We can't talk about the small things that are happening. I think it's all big stuff. We saw the players melt down today with penalties, some justifiable, some not, but needless to say that hurt us. But I think the biggest issue we're going to have now is our quarterback position and how they're calling plays. If Campbell's going to continue to be our play caller, which I doubt it will change between today and Thursday, there's not enough time.
Right.
We need to see some sort of difference. They either need to change the plays up to be more quarterback friendly, to allow these guys to succeed outside of the way that they've been succeeding, or I don't know. They need to hire some dude off the street to come play quarterback, because right now it's just not working. We are completely one-dimensional. I think it's a miracle that we get any yards rushing the football at all with how one-dimensional we are. But we also have to keep in mind that we haven't been playing that great of teams. The last couple of weeks have been kind of So we've hung in there, right? But I'd like to see a little bit more than that. I'd like to see Campbell be a little bit more consistent on whether he's going to be aggressive or not. And I don't know if we're going to see any big changes on Thursday, but maybe the week after we'll have some idea of what's going on.
Yeah. When I start looking ahead, I think about, we've got, we did the Browns. The Browns are a 5-5 team. They're better than 5-5 team. And we lost by 3. I feel like this is a game we could have won. I feel like this is a game we could have won just as much as the Steelers game is a game we could have won. The Rams game is one we could have won. The Vikings game we could have won. The Ravens game we could have won. There's a lot of near misses out here. This is a team that's setting up, if I think real far out, next year to be that team whose numbers surge. They go from, maybe no wins at a time, maybe 1 or 2 wins, whatever, to all of a sudden 7 or 8 wins. Hodges, thank you, sir. Oh, you made it all right with the world. Mike Hodges takes us to $29,069. Awesome, brother.
There we go. There we go.
I had this tension in my shoulders because the change was off. But there we go. $29,000.69. If you want to join, help out stjude.org/DLP. We're 1,000 away from our goal. But we go from the low win count to a 8-9 win count, 7 win count next year. We make a big surge, and we're the surprise team in the NFL. And there's a lot of conversation about that. I think that's being set up because already at this point we're a team that could have had 4 wins, just as easily as they were with losses or a tie. We're looking at the Bears on Thanksgiving, who are without Justin Fields, without Khalil Mack, who are on the downward spiral. They'll probably be looking for a new coach after the season. They've got a lot going on over there. The Vikings beat Green Bay today. The Vikings are an anomaly, much like the Lions are. They're very, very unpredictably up or down. So we'll see what Vikings we get it. We're home, so that's helpful. And then at the Broncos, we've played 2 games in weather, and it really didn't seem to negatively affect us as far as ball security or any other part of the game. Play calling kind of was adjusted to the weather in both games, but I feel like we did well. So I feel like the Broncos game is one we could pull a win out. The Cardinals, sorry about that. The Falcons though, the Falcons, and I wouldn't be too high in the Seahawks. We'll see where they are by week 17, but they're a bit of an anomaly too. I mean, there's been plenty of opportunities for this team this year to still screw up the draft pick, but we'll see what happens. I don't think this team goes winless. I really don't. They've got too much heart. They've got too much going on. This is that year that's going to be extremely difficult for fans because we're still feeling the pain of the Bob Quinn salary cap. We're feeling the pain of the roster decimation that happened in the Quinn era, and the lack of talent development from Matt Patricia. And this is the result. This is the result. This is kind of that year of austerity and penance. And everyone said it was going to be a tough year at the beginning. So at this point, if you're screaming about being out of the Lions, I don't know if that's where you want to be. You knew it going in. I mean, I would have loved to seen any one of those 4 wins come through. We're going to have a great draft pick to start the draft. The Rams, they seem to be working as hard as they can to give us a good draft pick in the second part of the first round. So, we'll take that little bit of charity, and we'll see where this team goes. But this is going to be a Houston one today. Thank you, Don H. This is going to be a tough one for the tough year for Lions. It's kind of a shakeout, a shakeout in the market as fans and people go by the wayside. We'll pick up a bunch of other folks like we did in 2008 that were like, hey, I like the underdog. I think you got something there, right? It'll be one of those kinds of things. But next year will truly tell the tale of what the next 3 years of this team look like. So what 4 years from now looks like for the Detroit Lions. This offseason is going to be amazing. And we'll be coming out of the Senior Bowl for you. We'll take care of it. If they're there, we'll be there with them. We'll do all that again like we do on Radio Roll. That looks good. So that's my take on today's game. It was terrible football. The
hard watch.
The penalties were terrible. The Jonah Jackson, your mom one, it just bothers me. That kind of stuff bothers me because they say some terrible things, and if it's a mob thing, and I don't even care what they say to each other while they're playing football. That's I feel like getting in someone's head is part of the game. I just
it is
this taunting thing is just another way to fix games, as far as I'm concerned.
A good your mom joke should never cost a team 15 yards.
Nope. And there's many like the block on the back. No one talked about the hold right before he blocked him in the back.
Oh, the hold. Yeah, I didn't even see the block in the back. I was too furious about the hold.
Same.
The huge hold. Yeah.
And then there was a number of plays throughout the game that was just it was terrible.
It was like watching the Lions play themselves. It wasn't great.
Yeah. So that was the game we had. It seems like weather games are always difficult that way. They get sloppy in every single kind of sense of the game. But so we move on. We've got 2 home games in a row, so the weather won't be part of it. Tony, it is frustrating. Peeing games away, that really kind of grinds on you. But with that, we'll take a couple phone calls if they roll in here really quick. 248-782-8384. 248-782-8384. And while we hold out for that, the holiday season is starting. It's the holiday season, and my balls need squeezing. That's a great drop. And you're going to go be getting all yourself gifts for yourself and other people by going to amazon.detroitlionspodcast.com, amazon.detroitlionspodcast.com. Head on over there. Get yourself some great Christmas gifts. Get your family some gifts while you're there. What the heck? But if you do it from amazon.detroitlionspodcast.com, they'll give us a little kickback. It won't cost you anything more. They actually take a couple of bucks out of Bezos' pocket and move it over here so we can launch somebody into space. We'll pick someone from the team this year that we want to launch into space. It's better than heads on a stick. It's a nicer way to do it. Treat them like a Tesla, right? All right, let's see. We got a caller. Caller, what's your name and how much have you had to drink?
Chris, my name is Trip. Called in a few times. Hope you and Sandman are having a great Sunday evening.
The game day cocktail is definitely helping with that for me. I know. Sam
Chris, let me ask you this. This is something you're never going to ask. How many have you had?
That's a great question.
Nobody ever thinks about you, Chris.
Not even me. I usually, when we do the game, the post game shows, I don't drink until after the game, because if I start during the game, I'm not sure I could make it up to hit the start button on the show. So I try to stay out of the booze. But I mean, like this one, it's almost gone. And you'd say, how much is, I don't know what the bartender's 1 second pour is worth X amount, but it was, it's good 9 seconds. So I don't know, 5 shots, something like that. So I might have like 10 drinks now.
I love it. As long as we're just getting started here, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's a long night,
for me personally, I mean, what do you expect, right? I mean, so thank God the Texans won. It's clear cut. We're getting the number 1 pick. Really, I just at this point want to pivot to the draft conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I like Kayvon Thibodeau. I think he's very, very good. I don't know that he's in the Myles Garrett type of conversation in terms of a prospect.
Yep.
I don't know how you can pass on Matt Corral out of Ole Miss, right? I mean, is he the Joe Burrow? Sure, probably not. But from a personality standpoint, from a talent standpoint, I mean, I don't know what else you want out of a guy. And I understand you take the best player available, and that's Kayvon Thibodeau. But I'm really eager to take Matt Corral.
I'm going to say I'm a little not out, but I don't know that Kayvon Thibodeau is the best player available. And the reason I say that is because, and it's, a lot of other people are starting to say this, he takes a lot of plays off. Like, he's just not there for part of the game. And then he shows up with a big play, but it's like, where were you, right? Where you been? I don't know that fits in Dan Campbell's kind of style of what he's trying to build and the culture he's trying to build. Corral, I mean, he's good looking guy. That always helps at the quarterback position, right? You can't have the elephant man throwing the ball. Nobody buys into it. You don't get jersey sales, right? I mean, that's part of the game. So I just think that he fits that part. He's not a bad quarterback by any stretch. The other side of it is, and this is something that worries me a little bit, the team may take a quarterback this year and may wind up taking another one next year. That's what scares the heck out of me. By the same token, it might be the right thing to do at this point, because things are so bad that you've got to do something at that position. And if everyone remembers, at the beginning of the season, I was out on a quarterback completely. I was like, do not do that. There's way too little talent elsewhere. There's too many other things that need to be taken care of. But right now, where we sit and at the quarterback position, we obviously don't have a backup. Get yourself the guy that's the next guy and bring him in, and then go to town, giving him some weapons. And even if you start Goff next year, by week 5, 7, 8, he's hurt again. Whatever happens, you bench him because you're just not doing what you need to. You put the new guy in and you get him the reps in what will be likely a slightly meaningless year still. And you get 3 wins, 4 wins. He gets the reps. And then by the time you get to that next draft with 2 more first-round picks, you're probably ready to have enough talent around to actually start competing.
Yeah. And Chris, I think I've kind of taken the same mindset as you. As I agree, when Jared Goff came in here, I wouldn't say I had crazy expectations, but certainly at least wanted to give him a year to see what he's capable of, just strictly out of respect for, the quarterback mindset, give him a chance to show he can do something. Clearly he can't, and that's okay. But to me, the coaching isn't the problem, right? If we had a competent quarterback, we may be a 4-win, 5-win team this year, right? So the defense is playing above what I expected. It completely well better than anything Matt Patricia ever drew up, right? Aaron Glenn's a stud. To me, I just, and I'm with you on Kayvon Thibodeau, a lot of times where he's just taking plays off, and I think he's got a ton of talent. I do. But to me, I mean, Matt Corral, I just think I don't want to sacrifice these first-round picks just to go up and get a quarterback in 2023, right? Those are valuable assets. When we've proven we have some talent at some pieces, at some places, my boy Jerry Jacobs, your boy Jerry Jacobs, a lot of guys like that are going to be a part of this team moving forward. That Matt Corral, I mean, he's a stud. He's got the mindset. I don't know if you guys saw Lane Kiffin's interview. they beat Vanderbilt last night. He said, we won, but not in the way we should have. Before I could even get to the team and tell them, hey, don't be excited about being Vanderbilt, I hear Matt Corral yelling at the team, saying, you better not go to the bars tonight. We bear it basically he's the mindset of Baker Mayfield, but I think he's got much more talent.
And most
to
of them,
me, you
most of
can't
them,
pass on a guy like that.
most of them are too young to go to the bar anyway. No, I'm with you. And I'll say where we are right now in the year, Kayvon Thibodeau is, top of everybody's draft, as Don was saying in the chat. By the time the draft rolls around, it's going to be you might as well play 52 pickup with that deck of cards because it's going to be completely different. It always makes massive changes between now and then.
Yep.
And I think you start with a big hive mind and who the people are, then they play and things get shuffled up pretty crazy. And then the hive mind starts forming again and reforming who's there. And then you'll see jumps and changes right ahead of the draft. But it's interesting. I mean, he's definitely, a talented guy. I don't want to knock it down, but I'm not sure. Look, I'd love to have him and Corral, right? I mean, what a great combo. It's just, you can only have one. That's the way it works out, unfortunately.
Well, I appreciate you taking my call. I always love calling in. Love you guys, and I will hang up and listen. And, certainly, let's keep trucking along, boys. The night's young. I'm going to have at least 2 or 3 more drinks in me by the end of the evening. Going to wake up tomorrow for work regretting every second of it, but we're going to have a great night.
My friend, I will join
every
you
Monday
on every part of that, except I've got next week off. Thank you.
Enjoy. I'm jealous. I should have done the same. I'll hang up and listen. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, brother. Be good.
I 100% wish I loved a quarterback in this draft.
Yeah.
Because I'm team. Do you remember when the Lions had the first overall pick in 2009 and people were like, no, you got to take, I can't even remember his name now, the linebacker, because we're going to suck next year too. Might as well draft Sam Bradford the next year. He's going to be there. We're going to be the worst. And we weren't the worst. And maybe that's because we had Stafford. But, I don't think you can guarantee anything in this league. And I hate the idea of passing up your opportunity to get the quarterback you want, even if maybe he's not the right guy at that moment. Mm-hmm. But this team just doesn't have enough talent on it for me to, number one, put a quarterback in this position, especially when we have a guy on the roster that's going to be eating up so much cap already at the quarterback position.
Oh my God. We have flipped positions this season.
Yeah.
We've completely flipped our points of view. Honestly, we still need defensive end help really, really badly. We still need it. Oh my God.
We got zero pressure, but with our wide receiver position being the way it is with, basically everything. We're kind of in a wonky spot where I think the defense is playing above grade, but I don't think the defense played good enough to win us games against good teams, which is where we need to get to. And we'll see when we get some players back that are healthy. Yep, chat saying Aaron Curry. Yep.
I know. I would say that the defense has. Especially when you look at the jump from last year to this year, it's massive how well they're playing. I think the offense has let them down and put them on the field far, far too much and made them appear worse than they actually are. If the offense could have held up their end of the bargain, I think this defense would have much, much higher stats and would be perceived even better than kind of the differential that they've had year over year.
I think there's also a little bit of teams know that they don't need to go ham on us because they know they don't need to score late. When teams have needed to score late, they have.
Are we the special kid? Really? Is that how we're being treated by their offenses?
Yeah. We're not getting full speed dodgeballs. It might be the analogy. We're like waist down dodgeballs.
I can't believe that. You won't convince me that that's the case.
When teams have been like, I'll just play them normal, we get the Philadelphia game.
So to your point, and I will argue for your point because as a mass debater, I can argue both sides of an argument. We drafted Matthew Stafford. Right? That was the idea. We needed the quarterback. And people were like, no, we got too much to build. We got the quarterback. And what did Matthew Stafford do for us? How many playoff games did we win when we got the quarterback, who was one of the best quarterbacks available in most of the drafts since then? because we never got the team around him, and he put us in this people talk about it in quarterback purgatory, right? Where you're like always this 7-8 win team that can't quite get the talent you need to push your team over the hump. Couple that with some of the GM moves we've had, some of the salary cap silliness we've had, and you wind up in this weird Lions-y kind of situation. But let me ask you this: are you willing to have another year of Goff?
I think we're gonna have a year of Goff, no matter who we draft. Honestly, I
think what happens is right around now at the latest, if you get Corral, for example, that switch gets thrown and you bring him in, right? So just let's say next year, and I don't want to say we're in the same spot we are this year, but things are bad, right?
Yeah.
And in the win column, and it's like, okay, sorry, Goff, you can't do it anymore because at this point it's a sunk cost beyond anyone, and there's no one that can argue against the sunk cost at that point, right?
Very sunk cost.
So you throw Corral out there and you get him, the work. You get him the work and get him the reps so that you're ready next year, and he's up to game speed and he's surrounded by other talent. I don't see a whole year of Goff. I don't see a whole another year of Goff. I just don't know how it happens.
I mean, I think it will be interesting. Like you said, the whole draft process doesn't really get interesting until we get closer to the end. Like we could see Aiden Hutchinson test out of his mind, and then all of a sudden you're looking at a complete defensive end versus a pass rush specialist in Kayvon.
I'm so
there's a million things that could happen.
I'm like. And I'm a Michigan guy, right? I'm a fan of University of Michigan, whatever. But so many times I've watched people fall in love with these Michigan guys, and it's like, I'm like, oh, he's a first round. He falls to the fourth and he never performs, whatever. And my instinct is to say, no, Hutchinson isn't that great. Don't do the homer buy-in. But he really is. You know what I mean? He's a good player, and unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get him. And he's going to be at that spot where we don't have a pick, right? He's going to be in between our picks, and he's going to go away. But that's interesting.
We'll see. I think honestly, like the Lions could go any direction, and I have no say in anything. I can be a little bit bummed. The only position that they could take that would really peeve me would be offensive line or tight end.
Yeah,
or tight end. That's it. That's it. They could go literally anywhere else, and as long as the player meets their draft position or is close to.
Yeah. In the chat, Don Hutchinson gets national praise too. It's that ninth second over the pour there. Yeah, he does. He does, and it's all in me. I'm telling you, it's totally me, Don. I'm like I'm taking the homer thing and like trying to reject it. Right. I'm just trying to. I have this bias away from it because I've just eaten too much homer food, so that's where that's at. All right, with that, let's tie it up, Andy. We've had a good show. It's been we've given our therapy. I feel better. I don't feel like I watched a bad football game. I feel like I hung out with a friend. It's the friends we made along the way, right?
Yeah, I think we're getting into draft talk. I'm gonna have to start paying closer attention to that. I'm not going to count the Lions out of any game the rest of the year because they've shown that they're competitive defensively. I think they're a couple of calls away from being offensively better, a couple of designs a little bit better. But we'll see. We'll see when Goff comes back. We'll see if the reason we called the Goff game that badly was because he was semi-injured and it was bad weather. Or if this is just the way that Dan Campbell calls games. Today they talked about how that was he's going to probably be doing it for the rest of the year.
Yep.
I guess we'll see.
He will.
And then if he does, what do we have to look forward to next year? Who's the new guy? Or is he going to permanently be that guy? We probably don't want that.
He's not. Campbell doesn't want that job. He's doing it because there's an absolute need. That's just me talking from what I hear. Campbell doesn't want the job. He doesn't want to be calling these plays. He has to. He'll do it for the rest of the year, and they'll find somebody. That's the way this is going to play out. End of the story. Thomas Donner, the O-line is the problem, my friend. You are in bizarro world. You are in a place where that is the least of our worries. All right. Remember, Don't forget about us on Patreon, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Get access to the most intelligent Lions chat on the internet. Sandman can attest. He can protest. He can whatever. It is the best place. For some reason, that little bar of the membership piece has created a community that's really, really special. 7-layer dip quality conversation there. Head on
highest of quality.
Patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. As little as $1 donation a month gets you into that, and it's a great place. Follow us on Twitter at DET Lions Podcast, DET Lions Podcast, and make sure to pick up Sandman at Sandman7773. That's 3 7s, 7773. All right, give us a call on Skype, DetroitLionsPodcast.com. It's Detroit Lions Podcast. Detroit Lions Podcast, all one word. Or call us on the Lions line at 929-33-LIONS. It's 929-335-4667. And be sure to go to the DetroitLionsPodcast.com, subscribe to the podcast so we can pop in your box with all your tunes automatically. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no problems, but all kinds of Sandman, because we're your Detroit Lions and Reddit connection.